This is KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications. This is KHQA. It's your news now.
And this is Saturday, February the 1st, and you have entered overtime where my voice will continue to crack throughout this night, obviously. We're going to try to hold it together for you as best we can. Please, apologies in advance. Every day in this business is its own unique animal, and today, obviously, that animal was a big, angry, snow-covered wildebeest that didn't want to be cooperating with us in any way, shape, or form. Cancellations were the order of the day as travel, especially to the north, proved treacherous. So tonight, we just keep fighting the good fight for you as best we can. And we start with the goodness that is right now the nationally ranked Quincy University women's basketball team coming off a thrilling win over Drury on Thursday. The natural inclination would be to expect a letdown against a much lesser Missouri S&T crew, but Jenny Garber knows that complacency is indeed the devil's toolbox, and her team today was really, really good. From start to finish in this one, starts off Lucy Cramsey doing the feed thing into Hannah Weidman. She didn't have a big scoring output today, but her presence made known right there. Finished the day with 8 points. Then Weidman doing some distributing in her own right, hooking up right here with the defensive specialist Felicia Loggins. QU up 63-35 at that point, and it just gets prettier. Carly Betancourt adds to the lead with the triple. Oh yeah, Jenny Garber likes what she sees, although, as always, Jenny just a bit stoic at that point. Kara Gerbis working from the outside, from the corner. That three dead to the bottom of the nylon. She had 15 points on the day. More work from the Hawks on the break. It's Carly Beebe finding Felicia Loggins, maybe the best transition finisher on this team. Great lay-in for her. Missouri S&T trying to get this thing at least respectable. They would to within 18 at this point on the beautiful take right there by Mia Wesley. Bucket, Band-Aid, and three-point play. Wesley doing more right here. Little two action right there. She knocks down the mid-range jumper. But you know what? That was just all to no avail. The Hawks too good in this one. The bench mob getting going for Missouri S&T at this point. Here come the Lady Hawks, though, finishing strong. Sierra Young gets the bucket right here as she gets her team right back on track. Then it's Lauren Gronwald, the pride of Illini West, doing some work on the interior, getting the bucket on the down low. All about the Lady Hawks today as they finish strong. Win by 20. No complacency for them. Great victory on the day as the Hawks win by 20 and continue to roll along. First place all alone in the West Division. It's all theirs, although Drury did beat Truman State today and end Truman State's streak. Let's go to Western Illinois taking on Fort Wayne today, and Marley Hall doing some things in the first half. Open back door and then the long jumper. But this was about Ashley Luke on the day. It was her show. In the low blocks, nobody could stop her, not only on her own buckets, but cleaning up the offensive glass very tidily right here. She had 19 points. Michelle Maher, also a big day today. She finishes with the offensive rebound and the Kobe turnaround right there. She had 15, but again, Ashley Luke leading the way in this ball game as Western holds off Fort Wayne late in this one. 68-65 was your final. Elsewhere on the college women's docket, Carroll too much at home for Illinois College despite a 20-point effort today from Hannah McGinnis. Also, Greenville goes into Jacksonville and beats up on McMurray by 30, 89-59 your final. Beardstown's Emily Riddle with 11 points in the loss. How about the men from Quincy University? Evan McGaffey playing with, well, bad teeth today after he got punched in the mouth, essentially, the other night against Drury, although it wouldn't show in his game, showing some toughness. First off, though, how about Dalton Hoover, the pride of Pittsfield, up top for the long three. More to come. Evan McGaffey hooking up right there with Hoover for the big finish. Two-handed slam in this one. Hoover this time off the missed three, grabs the rebound and would flush it down again. Wow, 18 points for Dalton Hoover. Big day for him. Highlight reel material throughout. More from the Hawks. A little loose ball action. Oh, look at the beautiful pass there from Herm. And look at McGaffey throwing down. Again, sensitive nerves in his teeth, or wherever he got punched, and he's still throwing down nicely. Hawks up 26-19 at that point. Before the half, Missouri S&T makes a little bit of a run. Bryce Foster with a nice take there. Then it's Aaron Emanuel coming strong, coming correct, and putting one in off the plexiglass and into the bottom of the cup. Foster would finish the half right here, but QU would still end up leading at the half, 44-36. And then they went into finishing mode, did the Hawks, something they could not do against Drury. Second half, Chris Babbitt taking over. Got a little ticked off, gotten a little bit of a Donnybrook. You do not want to make this man angry, like gamma rays to Bruce Banner. Beautiful take right there as he goes up strong again. 13, oh no, wait. bigger than that. 31 points, I should say, for Mr. Babbitt, as he was a one-man gang down the stretch. That's a career high. As I mentioned, a career high at the other end. Bryce Foster trying to answer. He had 24 points in this game in answer for the future engineers of Missouri S&T. Then Foster again would end up tying this thing up at 61. Curtis Okafor coming strong as well. Would keep it tied up at 63 with a smooth lay-in. The Hawks in trouble again, but this time around, they're going to finish, and they're going to finish strong. Austin Weber going to hook up with Evan McGaffey coming up in just a second right here, as you will see it. McGaffey finishing his day with 16 points, the pride of Illini West. Beautiful stuff on the backdoor alley-oop jam right there. Then more in transition from Babbitt. He's going to get the pass. Just some pretty stuff from him all day long. Pure artistry from Chris Babbitt on the other end. Little whirling dervish move. Did I mention he had 31 points on the day? Much higher than 13. Good day for him. More from Hoove as well, who finished with 18 points. The pride of Pittsfield getting it done. The Hawks, kind of a tone for Thursday night's near miss. Boy, Hoover with a pretty post move. The bucket and the Band-Aid to finish off a 93-77 victory. The Hawks improved to 8-13 overall, 3-8 in conference play. So nice win for them on the day. Elsewhere, tough road trip for the Western Illinois men as they end up losing. The freshman Garrett Covington shows out yet again. 77-64 was your final in that ball game. We have other news for you on the road. Illinois College drops one to Carroll by 11. Brandon Berry, the bright spot, with 14 in that game. But look at this. Tell you what, McMurray is a ball of raging fire right now. They're lava-like as they've won 7 in a row, improved to 14-4 in the season. Brady Slagle, the pride of West Central High School, another double-double on the day, had 13 ribs to go along with that 10 points as McMurray is just crushing it right now. Big 30-point win at home over Greenville. News not as good for HLG, which loses to Mid-Continent 69-62. Stephen Campbell, the former Quincy homeschooler, with 12 points on the docket in that one as well. Well, let us move on now. On Friday, the Quincy High wrestling squad upset 3-time defending Western Big Six champion Rock Island and put themselves in a position to claim the program's first conference strap since way back in 1988. The Devils followed suit this morning with a big win over United Township, which meant a win over Moline this afternoon would seal the deal. Phil Neely's squad got down early 3-0 as they dropped their opener at 138. Enter the man, Matt Bilgrey, and he was certainly that today. Sent an immediate message with the lightning-quick takedown. That move worked so well, he went to it again, built his lead up in this one to 6-0 really quickly. More from Mr. Bilgrey with the takedown as well yet again. Had a huge lead, going to finish it the right way in this one. This time, not only the takedown, but he catches the half Nelson as he does it, has the presence of mind to do it midair with the kid kind of coming down, and he would finish his business up as Quincy High School, by virtue of that pin, would take a 6-3 lead over Moline. Back and forth we'd go throughout the day. I don't know how parents do it. The drama was crushing today. The Devils get back a pin at 152, 160. Parker Schutte with the escape right here takes the lead. This might have been the highest Malox moment of the day because this match was back and forth throughout. This is Parker Schutte. He escapes and gets back to neutral for a half second and then he gets the takedown as well as he'll claim the points at that point, building himself a lead. He would extend that lead as well, although it was a little scary right here for Parker. He's tilting for the back points. He would get those, but his opponent from Moline slips out and cuts the lead all the way down to 8-7 at that point. Parker kind of has to ride things out for the last 46 seconds of the match. But Parker Schutte, seasoned veteran, very good wrestler. He ends up doing just that, sneaking away with a victory and giving his team more momentum. As Parker gets the ride out, Moline comes back, gets a pin at 170 to retake the lead, 182. This guy was a monster all day long. Logan Hagerbomber, Bomber for short, going to work. He was the Mad Bomber today, so to speak. Aggressive takedown from him, some back points coming up right here. Nearly stuck the kid at the end of the first period. He's still working and working strong. Hagerbomber was the man today, just absolutely getting it done today as he would eventually cinch in the pinfall victory in this one, just manhandling his kid, and ends up putting the Blue Devils back up when he gets the pin. Yeah, bowing the kid right there, using the neck, just prototype. Wonderful technique out of him. As Quincy High jumps out to a 15-12 lead. Then Quincy High loses at 195. At 220, Matt Ballard right here with the escape, gets back to neutral. The only point in that match, the Blue Devils get the 3 points there. Consecutive pins, though, at 285 and 106 put Quincy High behind the 8 ball despite Ballard's victory, which meant a Jared Straube win at 126 would help the comeback. Quincy High essentially gets to this point. They're down. They need a pinfall victory from maybe their best wrestler, this guy, Michael Peters, who would go to work at the end. He needs a pinfall victory. Nearly sticks the kid here at the end of the first period. Couldn't quite get him. The opponent saved by the bell. Not really seen a kid not wrestle. The Malone kid simply spent the time on the mat trying not to get pinned. The entire time, that's what he was trying to do. Meanwhile, Peters just rolling up the points, getting near a tech fall right here. Again, a second chance to stick the kid. And again, the kid has more lives than a cat as he ends up getting away and getting saved by the bell in this one. We'll pick it up late in the match. It's 14-0 Peters with 23 seconds left. Again, Michael has to get a pin to make this happen. You're going to watch the remaining seconds of this match in real time as Peters gets his kid turned, seems to have great position, and is simply working him. He's got his chest to chest on the kid, forcing him down, forcing the shoulders to the mat. In the waning seconds of this, there were about 3 different opportunities. It looked like the referee might throw the hand down and give Quincy High that first Western Big Six title since '88, and the kid just at the bottom of this just keeps fighting and somehow saves Moline by a single point. Quincy High within a whisker of the pin. You could see barely any kind of daylight between his shoulders, but unfortunately for Quincy High School, they come up just that close. They end up losing a 33-32 decision. Great run for the Blue Devils through this tournament and through this conference meet, but unfortunately, and I've never seen a kid that happy to get tech fall before, because he did lose a tech fall 16-0, but he was thrilled. So was the Moline crowd. They beat Quincy, and that's what they live for, I guess. Quincy High loses a heartbreaker 33-32. Better news in basketball. There was actually some high school basketball today. The Quincy homeschoolers today down in the Mississippi Valley tournament have to play back through the back draw a little bit after losing to the St. Louis Knights yesterday. Quincy High beats Bethel to get back into the championship game behind 19 points from Jordan Hickman, and then they beat the Knights. They finally get that monkey off their back and end up beating the Knights by 10 today. Jordan Hickman was named your MVP of the tournament. Congratulations to Coach Hickman and company. That's a heck of an accomplishment and a great way to end the weekend. And that was really the only high school basketball we had today, but there is plenty more high school basketball coming up this week. It is KHQA Subway Superfan shootout time. As my voice cracks yet again, we'll preview with maybe the most anticipated small school match of the entire showdown coming up next.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications.
And welcome back to Overtime, everybody. Come this time next week, weather permitting, we will be in the absolute throes of basketball jubilation. The two-day, 12-game KHQA Subway Superfan Shootout tips off on Friday with a trio of contests at the pit, then culminates with a crescendo of goodness on Saturday night. 4 grand finale-worthy pairings to end the evening, perhaps none as pedigreed as the 2013 Elite 8 rematch, which is slated to start at the pit at 6 p.m. between a pair of, right now, top 5 Class 1A boys teams. But it's more than that, as anyone who was at the Jacksonville Bowl last March can attest. It's a chance to rekindle what might have been the single best boys game we saw played anywhere in our area last year.
Oh, it was a huge game. You wouldn't walk into that gym and think it was a 1A game. I mean, I went to the state tournament and watched 1A and 2A all the games, and there was one dunk the whole time. There was 5 dunks in that game. And I mean, it's not all about dunking and the highlights and stuff, but it was a very athletic game, very hotly contested game, back and forth, guys making plays. They just made a couple more, and I think our guys got the experience that they're looking forward to trying to make up for that. And, you're going to come to the pit and watch that game, and I think, win or lose, I think people are going to be very entertained with what they get to see.
For those with no rooting interest or personal investment, it simply promises to be great basketball theater. But for Brian Ray and his crew, entertainment value takes a backseat to redemption at the KHQA Subway Superfan Shootout.
We know what they're going to do. I'm sure they know what we're going to do. They've got really good athletes. I think we've got good athletes. It's going to come down to who wants it more, and I think, our passion for wanting that game from the time that, at the Super Sectional, Dennis came down and asked, you want a rematch with him at the Superfan Shootout? Yep. We've been looking forward to that one, the entire off season and all season. Hopefully we're not looking ahead because we've got a couple really big games coming up. But we're looking forward to that one, and I think it's going to help gauge where we are.
The now 4th-ranked Trojans return only 2 players who saw significant time on the floor in Peoria from last year's state runner-up squad. But they do boast 5 guys now averaging 10 points per game or better, led by a legitimate name in burgeoning star Deontay Starnes, which is incentive in its own right.
A kid like Gage Klitz, he's been waiting for that game because he wants to play those bigger guys. He always rises to the occasion against bigger, better talent. I mean, you look at the MVIT championship against Unity, what he did. You look last night, had 16 points and was a huge factor in us winning. He's looking forward to playing against guys that are 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". He wants to go against the bigger guys because that's what challenges him. He's an odd duck sometimes, but that's what challenges him, and I think that's what we're looking forward to, is playing a team that people think top to bottom is just flat out better and more athletic than we are, and we want to prove to them that we can play with them too.
And ever since Brian Ray assumed control of this program, it's been a hallmark of the Payson Seymour Indians to rise to and relish the big stage.
I think that started in our offseason in the summertime, going up to Michigan and playing schools that are 10, 20 times our size, going up to Chicago area and playing teams like Palatine and some Chicago public schools and things like that. We thrive on playing teams we don't know because it energizes our guys. We've, like Liberty, I think next Friday is going to be our 18th or 19th time I've played them, since I've been here, and it starts to wear on you. The other team knows what you're going to do. They know your players, their players, and all that stuff. And I think, going in and playing somebody different is what they really thrive on. It's like, oh, now we're motivated because we're not playing the same teams over and over again. And I think that's not true just for us, but I think it's true for a lot of the area teams because we see each other so much.
We also hope that will be true for Quincy Notre Dame and Ellsbury, who will hook up coming up on Friday night. That game scheduled for 8:30 on the boys' side, and we will preview tomorrow, including a look at Kenny Leslie, the 6'9" junior, who's averaging 24 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 blocks per game this past season, the season that's going on, I should say. He's an amazing talent, getting a lot of Division I looks. In fact, got a chance to spend a little time down at Creighton with Doug McDermott. I told that to my wife this week. She said she'd be more impressed if he was spending time with Dermot Mulroney, but that's another story for another day. Kid can flat play. Kenny Leslie, good. Will Wilson has that complete breakdown of his recruiting, what he brings to the table, and what he poses against Quincy Notre Dame coming up tomorrow night at 10 o'clock on the late news. Meanwhile, speaking of Kenny Leslie, how convenient Mr. Leslie this week is your latest nominee for the Con Communication Connection for this thrilling throwdown he had the other night at the expense of Winfield. Not just the dunk itself, but the three-point block where he skies to get that ball out of the air. Kenny Leslie can flat get it done. Just the latest nominee, and he finishes with a lot of panache. We tend to think you'll see a couple of these at the KHQA Subway Superfan Shootout next Friday night. Kid can flat get it done. Meanwhile, we got a really good group of nominees going with one more week to go for January's best. We're going to extend it one more week into the Superfan Shootout, likely to have a Superfan offering next Saturday right here on Overtime. But right now, as it stands, you got a slam dunk from Gage Klitz, the Payson Seymour star who we talked about earlier. We've got Josie Finch's continued shooting heroics for Illini West, where she just knocks down threes right and left. We've also got from last week Kyle Fulton beasting up to help Monroe City, and now the Kenny Leslie offering. All good stuff. And again, one more week, then you can go to connecttristates.com for your chance to vote on your favorite. You get to pick the highlight of the month for January, and if you vote, you get a chance to win a nice prize package from Con Communication. A couple of baseball scores to pass along today. The Pride of Mendon Unity and the John Wood program, Craig Bostert, what a first pitching effort for him out of the gate this season. 14 strikeouts, complete game as Culver Stockton beats Bacone 4-1 in the first game of Twin Bill. And the Wildcats bounce back nicely in the second game. Brock Kartheiser with a 3-for-3 day at the plate and 4 RBIs. And we'll have more, or RBI, I should say. We'll have more overtime coming up for you right after.